It started on a cloudy Tuesday afternoon. I had just finished helping with the setup for the retirement luncheon at my husband Mike's company. He'd asked me to lend a hand. They were short-staffed, and I've always liked being useful. The room buzzed with a strange mix of celebration and quiet sorrow. Balloons clung to ceiling tiles, fruit platters and plastic flutes of sparkling cider sat untouched on folding tables. People laughed politely. I didn't know many of them, but I smiled anyway. That's what you do after a certain age. You blend in, soften your presence. Mike was caught up in a conversation with the guest of honor. I didn't want to interrupt. I figured I'd quietly head to the car, let him enjoy the moment. That's when I heard a voice behind me. "Need a ride, Mrs. Callahan?" I turned and saw him. Nathan, one of Mike's younger coworkers. I remembered him vaguely from holiday parties. Always standing just outside the spotlight. Tall. Thoughtful eyes. Messy dark hair that somehow made him look more human. "Oh no," I said, laughing softly. "I'm fine." I parked close. He glanced up at the sky, the clouds now heavy and bruised. "It's about to pour. I really don't mind." I hesitated. My feet ached. The sky growled softly. And something in his voice, not pushy, just gently offering, made me nod. His car smelled like peppermint and worn leather. Lived in but clean. He turned down the radio the moment I settled in, like he understood silence could be a kindness too. "You were a big help in there," he said, his voice low and sincere. "Just tried to be useful," I replied, eyes fixed on the windshield. The rain began, soft, steady, like fingers on glass. "You're one of those women who keep everything running, huh?" he added. I turned slightly. "What do you mean?" He looked embarrassed, his jaw tightening. "I mean, people don't always notice women like you. But I do. The quiet strength. The way you look at everyone and listen like it matters." I didn't know what to say. Something fragile stirred in me, something that hadn't moved in years. "It's strange," I said quietly. "Sometimes I feel like I vanished after 50. Nathan looked at me then. Really looked. "You're not invisible, Diana." The way he said my name, it warmed something under my ribs. We drove in silence again. But it was no longer awkward. It was thick with awareness. I thought he'd stop at the gate, but he turned down the road that led straight to our house. "You know where we live?" I asked. "Dropped Mike off once. After that company baseball game. You weren't home." He pulled into the driveway. Parked. Didn't turn off the engine. "Thanks for the ride," I murmured, reaching for the door. But then, "Can I ask you something?" he said softly. "You can tell me to shut up if it's out of line." I paused. "Go ahead." His eyes didn't waver. "Are you happy?" I blinked. My breath caught. A chill danced along my spine. "That's a complicated question." He nodded. "Most honest ones are." I didn't answer. Couldn't. But something in me whispered, "He sees you." I stepped out into the rain. Let it soak me, cool and honest. As I reached the door, I looked back. He was still in the car. Still watching. Still present. That night, lying beside Mike, his steady breath like the ticking of an old clock, I felt awake, unsettled. Nathan's words echoed in my chest. "Are you happy?" When had anyone last asked me that? The next morning, I moved through my routine. Mike kissed my cheek on his way out, mumbling about traffic. I smiled, automatic. Then my phone buzzed. "Nathan, I hope I didn't cross a line yesterday." I stared at the screen. My thumbs hovered. Then, "Me? You didn't." It just caught me off guard. His reply came quickly. "Nathan, fair. I noticed you. That's all. The way you smiled. The way you looked away." My pulse kicked up. I paced the room. Then typed. "Me. You're not wrong. I've been invisible a long time." Silence. Then, "Nathan, coffee? Just talk. Nothing more." I didn't say yes. Not right away. But I didn't say no. Thursday, I told Mike I was running errands. I wore a navy blouse I hadn't touched in years. Something that made me feel like me. Not anyone's wife. Not anyone's mother. Just Diana. The cafe was small, with creaky floors and soft jazz. Nathan stood when I walked in. He looked different, less like a colleague's coworker, more like someone waiting for me. We talked for hours. About books. About parents. About the silences that grow between people. About how love can turn into routine if you're not careful. At one point, our fingers brushed. We both froze. "I'm not looking for something reckless," I whispered. "Neither am I," he said. And I believed him. Days passed. Quiet on the outside. Loud inside my chest. Then one Sunday, Nathan texted. "Nathan, there's a walking path by the lake. Quiet. Peaceful. Want to join me?" I said yes. We walked in silence, leaves crunching beneath us. "Do you ever wonder," he said, "what your life would look like if you'd made one different choice?" I stopped. "Why are you asking me this?" He turned to me, serious. "Because I think you've been asking yourself the same thing." The wind tugged at my hair. He reached up gently and tucked a strand behind my ear. My breath caught. "I'm married," I said. "I know." He stepped back, respectful. "You're not old, Diana. You're alive. And you make me feel that way, too." We sat on a bench by the lake. The sunset painted the water gold. "Why me?" I asked softly. Nathan didn't hesitate. "Because you carry silence like it's part of your soul. Because when you smile, it feels like spring. Because I see how much love you've given and how little you've kept for yourself." Tears pricked my eyes. We didn't kiss. We didn't touch again. But I knew, deep in my bones, that something had shifted. 3 days later, we ran into each other at the grocery store. I turned, startled. He smiled gently. "I wasn't sure I'd see you again." I wasn't either. There, in the produce aisle, the hum of everyday life around us, I whispered, "This can't go where it wants to go." "I know," he said, "but it was real." Outside, he walked me to my car. As I turned to go, he pulled me into a soft embrace. No urgency, just warmth. Just the ache of goodbye. "You woke something in me," I whispered. He nodded. "You did the same for me." Then he was gone. That night, Mike stood at the grill. "Burgers tonight?" he asked. "Like old times." I nodded. He looked at me. "You okay?" And for once, I didn't lie. "I'm not sure," I said. "But I want to be." We stood in silence as the sky turned orange overhead. Not an ending. Not a beginning. Just a moment, and sometimes that's enough.